If you're familiar with my testimony, you know it's a topic near and dear to my heart. I recently saw a video of a quote-unquote couple getting married, and the minister said, "You may now kiss your bride." And the woman, she was wearing a wedding dress and her face was covered by a veil. Now her veil was lifted up, and when the couple should have kissed, I doubt if their lips even touched, and it was reluctance on the groom's part. There are some people, they have gotten divorced and they never kissed their quote-unquote spouse or former spouse. There are some people who have gotten divorced and they never even received a hug from that former spouse. There are some people who have gotten divorced and they never consummated the marriage. And the consummation of a marriage is a big deal. The sealing things with a kiss, it is a prelude of what is to come. And this is something that you please need to pay attention to. Some individuals may be shy. And we're seeing this wedding, and when the minister said, "You may now kiss your bride," the couple, and I think they coordinated with the minister beforehand, they went behind the scenes and they shared their first kiss just between each other. But when you see people refusing to kiss, is it quote-unquote stage fright, or is it showing what is to come? Is it showing that the union is not one based on love? And sometimes it is a quote-unquote union based on witchcraft. Now, regarding the consummation of marriage, it is a big deal. In Genesis 6, it speaks about angels, watchers, who left their place in the heavens, and they took the daughters of men as wives. Taking the daughters of men as wives speaks about having sex with them. Now, having sex doesn't mean that a couple or two people automatically get married. And an example of this, or two examples, when Shechem assaulted Dinah, and also when Amnon assaulted Tamar. In neither case did it result in a marriage. So having sex doesn't automatically constitute a marriage, but it is a very important part of it. In Genesis 24, Abraham told his servant to go find a wife for his son Isaac, and the servant followed his instructions. And Abraham had told his servant that an angel of the Lord would go ahead of him to help select and bring back this woman, and that if she didn't want to get married, then she'd be released, or he would be released from that oath. So it was a big deal. There was angelic assistance, holy angelic assistance, which means sometimes unions are brought together, not by holy angels, but by devils, fallen angels. So when the servant found Rebekah, the hand of God was all over it. He brought Rebekah back, and Isaac and Rebekah met for the first time. And Genesis 24 concludes by letting us know that Isaac took Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent. And basically, they had sex, and that constituted the marriage. It wasn't a matter of having some ceremony, as we later see, with when Laban deceived Jacob into marrying Leah. I kind of stepped in it when I brought that one up. Many people overlook the fact that how Jacob ended up marrying Leah was an act of witchcraft. One I was inspired to call relation witchcraft, because it is the use of witchcraft to try to get, retain, or regain a relationship. Because Jacob didn't love Leah. He was not going to do it if he was of sound mind. And it wasn't until after consummating that marriage, and he woke up the following day, that he realized that everything that happened the night before did not happen with his beloved Rachel, the one he made a covenant with Laban to marry, but he ended up marrying Leah instead. And the Bible lets us know that Jacob hated Leah. I'm stepping into more stuff. And Leah knew that Jacob hated her, but that didn't stop Leah from pursuing Jacob. Yes, they kept on having sex. God kept on blessing them with children. But Leah kept on pursuing Jacob, and it wouldn't work. because Jacob didn't love her, plus he was in love with someone else. There's some individuals, it's one thing if they're in a relationship, but there's some individuals who are no longer in a relationship. Some of these individuals are married and even married with children, but in their heart and in their mind, they're still holding on to someone that they used to be in a relationship with. And it could have been a former marriage. And a part of them holding on to this person, sometimes without the knowledge of their current spouse, is because they view people as their property, especially when they're in a relationship. And when the relationship ends, especially when the other person ends it, and it wasn't on their terms, they see it as sometimes an injustice. They see it as something that they need to avenge. They see it as something that they need to end on their own terms. And even though they're in a relationship and God has blessed them with a relationship or even a child or children, they're still holding on to and even want to punish someone they used to be in a relationship with, all because the relationship ended in a way that didn't suit them. But as we see in 1 Kings 3, a major part of love is the ability to let go. The mother, when the other one was contending that the child who was still alive, the son, was hers, and Solomon, when he was trying to figure things out, he ordered one of his men to cut the child in half. And the mother, who loved her son so much, basically said the other woman could have him. And the other woman was so evil that she wanted Solomon to have his man cut the child in half. And that's when Solomon discerned who was truly the mother, who was truly showing love. And that is something you must do, especially if you're going to be party at a wedding, and more so if you're going to be the officiant. If you're the officiant and you tell a man that he may now kiss his bride, and he's reluctant, she's the one going in for a kiss, and he wants nothing to do with her, that is a major red flag. And if you're such a minister, you need to ask questions, because you may have failed to ask those questions beforehand. But that is a manifestation of an issue that is going to bear fruit, and most likely ungodly fruit. If a man is not chomping at the bit to kiss his bride, and even more so to do like Isaac did by taking his bride to the tent to consummate the marriage. And if you're an officiant and you're officiating a wedding and a man refuses to kiss his bride, or vice versa, then you may need to refuse to sign the marriage certificate until you're sure that it is of God, because it is also a stain on a minister's record if that minister joins two people in what the minister is calling a holy matrimony, but it ends in a divorce, particularly shortly afterwards, without neither couple having kissed, hugged, or consummating that marriage. So when you see things like this, and who wants to start a marriage off with such a source of embarrassment, where the person you're supposed to be joined with doesn't want to kiss you and kiss you publicly? So if you're in a wedding and you see things like that, be observant. And for some individuals, you may not be able to tell that they're under someone's spell, but there may be signs, and look for little cracks. But it's a major red flag if you hear a minister say, "You may now kiss your bride," and the groom is reluctant to do so. Of course, it works both ways. If the couple isn't licking their lips, getting ready for that first kiss, if they can't get that part right, what is a quote-unquote marriage going to be like? So again, that is why some people have gotten divorced. They never hugged their former spouse, never kissed their former spouse, in some cases, never consummated their marriage. So it is a major red flag when you see a man refusing to kiss the woman who's supposed to be his bride.